This is healing, this is growth, this is truth. Chitter Chatter! We run the vibe, talk it out loud, bring it to the light, from the pain to the glow up after. Welcome to Chitter Chatter! Chitter Chatter, say it loud, say it proud. Real talk only, we don't water down. Every queen got a voice that matters. Step inside Chitter Chatter! Yeah, we speaking life, no filter, no fear. Every story told, yeah, it matters right here. From the laughs to the tears, we keep it all real. Mind check, heart check, tell me how you feel. Building up queens, yeah, we shifting the space. Healing out loud, putting truth in your face. It's a vibe, it's a movement, more than a show. When unique will talk, you already know. Chitter Chatter! We run the vibe, talk it out loud, bring it to the light, from the pain to the glow up after. Welcome to Chitter Chatter! Chitter Chatter, say it loud, say it proud. Real talk only, we don't water down. Every queen got a voice that matters. Step inside Chitter Chatter! Black Girl Beauty presents Chitter Chatter! Hosted by Unique Romantic. You know what time it is. It's Chitter Chatter time. It's Chitter Chatter time. This ain't just talk. This is healing. This is growth. This is truth. This ain't just talk. This is healing. This is growth. This is truth. Chitter Chatter. We run the vibe. Talk it out loud. Bring it to the light. From the pain to the glow up after. Welcome to Chitter Chatter. Chitter Chatter, say it loud, say it proud. Real talk only, we don't water down. Every queen got a voice that matters. Step inside Chitter Chatter. Yeah, we speaking life, no filter, no fear. Every story told, yeah, it matters right here. From the laughs to the tears, we keep it all real. Mind check, heart check, tell me how you feel. Building up queens, yeah, we shifting the space. Healing out loud, putting truth in your face. It's a vibe, it's a movement, more than a show. When unique will talk, you already know. Chitter Chatter! We run the vibe, talk it out loud, bring it to the light, from the pain to the glow up after. Welcome to Chitter Chatter! Chitter Chatter, say it loud, say it proud. Real talk only, we don't water down. Every queen got a voice that matters. Step inside Chitter Chatter! Black Girl Beauty presents Chitter Chatter! Hosted by Unique Romantic. You know what time it is. It's Chitter Chatter time. It's Chitter Chatter time. This ain't just talk. This is healing. This is growth. This is truth. This ain't just talk. This is healing. This is growth. This is truth. Chitter Chatter. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. You know what time it is. Chitter Chatter time. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I am your host, Unique Romantic, actress, model, poet, Black Girl Beauty coach. So come on in, drop a like, drop a comment, tell a friend to tell a friend that it is Chitter Chatter time. And we are here with another powerful episode for you, ladies and gentlemen. Our topic is healing starts early. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're speaking about mental health. Tonight on Chitter Chatter, we're shining a light on youth mental health with special guest and elementary school counselor. She's dedicated to helping us to establish pressures, relationships, and self-esteem. In honor of Mental Health Awareness Month, we will discuss the importance of emotional wealth and help in young students, building safe spaces, and how parents, educators, and communities can support healing early, from social media pressures to school stress and self-confidence. This conversation is real, relatable, and necessary because healing starts early. And every child deserves to be seen, heard, and supported before the struggle becomes silence. This is Black Girl Beauty, ladies and gentlemen. And we are on Chitter Chatter. For those of you just now tuning in, but you know what we got to do before we get too deep. You know what we got to do before we get too deep, ladies and gentlemen. We gonna mix our drink. Here are our ingredients for the night. Already spilling stuff all over the place. I am making a cherry Moscow Mule. Now, you're supposed to make these in a copper cup. Listen, get fancy and do your own thing. I'm doing the red cups tonight, okay? The cup don't make it no difference. It's gonna taste the same. So we doing that. We doing let's act like we at a parade. You know, everybody got plastic cups. I'm saying that because I was talking to my brother earlier today. I made him one as a sample to see how it was gonna taste, and I went over to him. He like, oh, you supposed to make that in a copper cup? You are. You very much are. But we ain't tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So first things first, how we're going to mix this. We're going to start with 4 ounces of vodka. We're doing Tito's. Pick your own poison. And you can drink whatever you like to drink. This is what we're doing tonight. And if you've never made a cherry Moscow Mule, step into it, ladies and gentlemen, because it is the move. And when I say it's good, I'm glad wasn't nothing in there. So I'm already knocking stuff over. Okay. 4 ounces of vodka. Might be a little over, but it's cool. You can never really have too much. And we're gonna do 2 ounces of grenadine. And that's gonna take this to 6. So let's go ahead and get that. And it would not be a number 6 on here. Right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna halfway that. If that's 4, I'm gonna say that's 6, yeah, because that look like about a 7 in between. You know, you can kind of do your own thing with the grenadine because it's about flavor. Everybody can't handle, you know, minimum grenadine. So I like 2 ounces. Do yours how you like. And then we're going to do 2 ounces of the lime juice, not lemon, but lime. Let me sit this down because I don't want no smoke. And so that should take that up to the 8. I'm going to have to hold it because I can't see. Oh. Okay, yeah, a little bit more lime. Okay. And that's how we're going to do that. And then we are going to get some ice. Oh, my ice. Oh! My ice done stuck together. So I'm going to just take a little bit of it and put it in my shaker. Because I ain't got that kind of time. Just a little bit of ice. I need to put some in the bottom of my cup. So when I put that over there, you need a little ice in the drink. And I'm mad that little bit popped out. And I'm gonna take this as much as can get in here because this is a little small shaker. If you got a big one, then fill it on up. And that's what's left in there. But oh, trust and believe, we come back for that. Go ahead and put the. Nah, I don't know why I didn't grab a towel, but. Got one. Keep them on deck. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to shake that up like so. Good shaker. Ain't even coming out the side. Look. What kind is it? Terramana. You know they make the best. That's usually what we on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how I got on vodka. Because I may be wrong in saying this, but I ain't know people still drunk vodka for real. I was going to do a Golden Girls drink tonight. And you strain this out of here and pour this in the cup. I was going to do a Golden Girls drink tonight. It was called Harvey Wallbanger, like an old school drink they used to drink back in the day. And I went to the store to get the ingredients. Child, the liqueur, which was Galliano or Galliano, how do you say it? The liqueur was $30-some. I was like, oh, not doing it. Because the Tito's one number 20. So you think I'm finna pay more for the liqueur than I paid for the liquor? Not happening. So after you put that in there, put that cup to the side and come back and get the rest of this in here. And I only got a little bit of ice left in there, but we don't really need that because it's some in the cup. So now I'm gonna shake this up and add this. And I'm glad because Lord, get to shaking it up without the top. Okay. Very little ice in there now. I'm gonna go ahead and strain this in my cup. Ooh, and there we have. Oh wait, I almost forgot the most important part. Once you get the ice in there, Jesus. Okay, let me put that off to the side. We are mixing our drink, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just now coming in, this is Chitter Chatter. It is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we will be discussing mental health tonight with elementary school counselor, Miss Layla P. She will be coming in shortly. Oh, last ingredient, ginger beer. And we will be diving into that topic. Now, I'll take this whole ginger beer and put this in here. Now, my cup a little full, so I might have a little too much ice. You're supposed to top that off like that, but I like to mix all my drinks a couple more times, so that's what we're going to do. Throw that sucker around. Mix that on up in there, because you know ginger hit different. You know, just one more mix up. Mental health awareness, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of us decide how we're going to address our mental. A lot of us do many different things. Some of us mix us up a drink. Some of us come out and talk. Some of us don't say anything at all. We are here to dive into some of the things that the youth does. Because one thing about it, when it comes to mental health and taking care of ourselves and being better, we're the first topic of conversation is the adults. We're always going to be worried about what we got going on, what he, she, them over there doing. But it's very rare that we sit and talk about the kids. Because before I get too deep, let's go ahead and toast on in, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't spill. That's good. The cherry is very definitely necessary. If you mix this drink with me, that is good. And go ahead and tap in and make it yourself if you have never made it. This is a cherry Moscow Mule. I just laid all the ingredients out for you. I did Tito's. Feel free to try your own alcohol at your own risk. Lime juice, ginger beer, and grenadine. And always ice. Got to have the ice. And you shake it up just like I did. But when we're speaking about mental health, we don't often address the children. We don't address what the kids got going on. And truth be told, the children are the children are most important, because how many of us as adults, well, let me not say us, because I'm not recovering from childhood, but how many of us are recovering from our childhood, or recovering from things that happened to us when we were 5, 6, 7, 8? And most people like to say that kids don't remember that. A lot of people like to say that, oh, they're young, they'll get over it. But what we have to start addressing, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that sometimes these kids don't get over it. I personally experienced some things as a child that I can still recall to this day, good and bad. So if kids can remember the happy moments, because a lot of us parents, we go all out for our kids' birthdays. We go all out for bridal showers, baby showers, and all types of things to celebrate our kids when they're very, very young. And we haven't made up in our minds somehow, some way they might remember this, or the memories of this they'll register when they get older. The same thing applies when we're talking about mental health. The things that you do right now to help your child or yourself to address your mental health, they help in the future. They register when you get older. It's almost, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost like listening to your parents. You know, when they say the things that they say, it might annoy you. You might feel like it ain't right. But at the end of the day, when you put things into perspective, 9 times out of 10, they were right, and you just didn't want to, address it. Or maybe, and this is a lot for most of us, you just didn't like their tone. Like, Mom, you know what, you was right, but you didn't have to say it like that. And that is why we're having the conversation tonight, because so many things are unsaid, so many things are not addressed, or so many things are swept under the rug. When it comes to mental health in these children, they deserve attention. They deserve the space and the atmosphere to come to anyone and be able to say, I'm not safe here. This place isn't safe for me. This is happening here. Or this is what's going on in my head. This is how I'm feeling. This is what's happening, and not be judged or shunned away or ignored because you may be too busy or don't have the time or when I say intelligence, I don't mean that you're ignorant, but sometimes we just don't have the intelligence the intelligence to understand what this child is saying to us. These kids are not being annoying all the time. They're not just speaking to be. Sometimes they have real issues. Sometimes they are dealing with real things that they are not speaking on. Bullying is so hectic right now in our community, ladies and gentlemen. Children are hanging themselves from all types of things. They're jumping off buildings. I ain't seen nobody jump off a building yet, but you get where I'm going with it. They're having nervous breakdowns and losing their lives because they are dealing with so much. These kids are exposed to so much more than we were exposed to. We had to be in before the street lights. We also could roam freely with no phone, no pager, no payphone, no nothing. But we also didn't have the internet. Lord, I don't know. I just can't tell you where I may have been had I could have Googled or GPS or Ubered. My Lord Jesus, if I could have Ubered once upon a time when I was moving around the way I was moving around, if I could have Ubered, Lord, people would have never saw me. Marta held you back a little bit. But ladies and gentlemen, that's why these conversations are important. We got to have them. We have to start. And that is going to bring me to my guest, because she is one of the best examples of, hold on one second. One of the best examples and people to speak to about this topic, because she works with children. She's very hands-on. She's very, very passionate. I know her personally, so I know she's very passionate when she does anything. So I can only imagine how she is when it comes to these children and being a shoulder and a reference and someone that they can come to have these types of conversations. That is why I am so abundantly happy to introduce to you my guest, Miss Layla P. If I can go ahead and bring her on.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Hold up. I'm doing good. Hold on. I got a little something for you. Okay. See, my name is Layla P. My friends call me Auntie, and when I'm working with these kids, they know me as Miss Lee. I'm known for love, fun, and laughter. Shout out to my girl for bringing me on to Chitter Chatter. Chatter.
Yeah, welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. You see for bringing tonight. You see how my guest is coming in. I have to let it be known first and foremost, we are CAU alumni. This is my CAU sister, Clark Atlanta. We were outside.
Yes.
Outside, and we started in the beginning. And I just want to let you know, first and foremost, in front of our entire audience, I'm so proud of you. I'm so thankful that you decided to join me here on Chitter Chatter.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about yourself, what it is that you do, and how things have evolved for you throughout your life.
Woo, okay, so where do I start? So I'm going to introduce myself like I always introduce myself. So my name is Layla. I go by Layla P as my artistic name. And y'all, I'm from Decatur, West Greater Georgia. I'm from the East Side, and I also grew up in East Atlanta, the 6th zone, you know what I mean? And I grew up on the East Side my entire life in Georgia. Of course, I graduated from the illustrious Clark Atlanta University, where we find a way or make one, okay? And I got not one, but 2 degrees from that same institution. My bachelor's degree is, thank you, girl. My bachelor's degree is in theater arts, everyone, which is where I met Uniqua down in the theater department. We was like a small knit community together. It was us against everybody else at Clark Atlanta. Yes, and then also, I graduated from undergrad in 2018, and then y'all, I didn't take no break. I don't know where it came from, but I didn't take a break, and I wrapped back around for grad school, and I graduated in 2021 with my master's degree in school counseling. So currently, I am a school counselor. I am an elementary school counselor, but I have worked with middle school kids and high school kids and other entities not in the school. And yes, I've been a school counselor for 4 years now, going on 5 years next school year. And
all right,
I reside on the East Side, and we're counting down the days. Any educators in the chat, I'm with y'all, okay?
On its way, and the summertime is about to kick in.
Yes, the streets is calling.
For the night. Miss Layla, what is it that inspired you to become an elementary school counselor? Because you like I met you in theater. We started off in theater classes, we acting and we're performing, and as we can see, you are a performer.
Yes.
What inspired you to become a counselor?
So nothing. So if I'm being completely honest, y'all, nothing really inspired me. It was God, for all my believers in the room.
Amen.
It was literally divine intervention and law of attraction. So another little background about me, both of my parents are educators. My father retired from Atlanta Public Schools and my mother currently still works in the school system. And so that's one thing because of them both being educators, and it was just kind of bound to happen. But of course, me trying to turn the other cheek and run away from it because I'm like, no, both of my parents are educators. No,
we were just talking about that. The parents be right. No.
Yes, I'm the performer. I'm the performer one. And like I said, literally it was God. I mean, I graduated that 2018 with my bachelor's degree in theater. And next thing you know, by that summer, I just out of nowhere just hit the ground running and applied for the counseling department for grad school. And boom, I was in grad school and did a 3-year program and got my master's in school counseling out of nowhere.
Just gotta go on with what's on our mind and go.
Yes.
Ties into mental health, because sometimes we can be dealing with our own stuff and have our minds so made up that we don't even consider other careers and other possibilities for our lives. And I'm just, it's beautiful to hear that's how you ended up where you are. And like, how does it feel? How do you enjoy it? Like when you go out on a whim and you find a passion and a love, it's a beautiful. Some of us were hesitant. What would you say to somebody that was kind of on that same whim? Like, I want to do this, or this ain't never even crossed my mind. Why would I do this? What would it say to them?
I would definitely say go with what you feel in your heart, like what you are feeling. And then sometimes some things you just can't control with you can't control. Like if God, like I said, for the believers, I don't want to just put it on everybody, but if God just is aligning your footsteps and he needs you in a certain area, regardless of how bad you try to move away from a whatever, he's gonna put you there. And so, like I said, I never thought about a master's degree ever. Definitely didn't think about education ever. And I remember, I don't know what day, where I was at or when, but I do remember I said, well, if I was to ever get another degree, I would get in something else I'm good in. And I knew I was good with kids. And as soon as I said it, girl, soon as I said it out loud, I was in that 3-year program and then graduated. And so, he knows where else you're talented in outside of what else you have your passion. And I also wanted something where I could try to combine the two. So, I can do, some like theatrical play and something like that with kids in counseling. Or if there's a matter of if I'm just helping out with the drama program, which I did last year, and I'm bringing that into it. You know what I mean? So
together.
Yes.
And if you're just now tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chitter Chatter. I am your host, Unique Womanagal, and I am here with my guest, elementary school counselor, Miss Layla P. aka.
Hey y'all.
And it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So our topic for tonight is healing starts early. Because as we've already mentioned, it starts with the children. A lot of adults are healing from things that happened to them when they were kids. That is why this conversation is so important. And I decided that I wanted to bring on a school counselor so that we can kind of get into the minds of some of the things that our kids are experiencing and hear firsthand of some of the things that we can do to support, to be a part of the process, because a lot of the issues that are going on are because parents, teachers, the staff, they're not aligned. We're not on the same page. Parents blaming the teachers blaming the parents, kids are taking advantage of the fact that everybody's blaming everybody. And that is why we need to have these conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Layla P.
Hey y'all.
One thing that people misunderstand about elementary school students.
They can, just because they're young doesn't mean that they may, go through like some mental health things, or they don't have some traumas that are happening at home, just because they're the younger ones. And that's for all grade level, all age levels, from elementary up to high school. Just because they are minors, they're kids, does not mean that they're going through stuff. You know what I mean? Um,
So
even our generation, we went
is
through
that why
stuff.
you believe that mental health is important in grade schools, mental health support?
Yes, it's very important, because at the elementary school age, well, I mean, just school, what's the word?
Grade
School,
school.
yeah, grade school age in general. You are a minor, so you are depending off your parents or your guardian, because some kids are not with their parents, they're with guardians, whether that's a foster parent or another family member or whatever. But you are depending and going off of your parent, your guardian, whoever. So whatever that parent, guardian got going on, or is putting that child through, they're feeling all of these feelings. So it's very important for mental health for younger kids, starting it early on up. You know what I mean? Because eventually these children will be adults. And, especially with the way in the world is shifting, we want functional adults in the
Absolutely.
world.
Absolutely.
So who can move through who can move through the different motions of life. And
Right.
so starting it early is definitely important. I can think of a student literally off the top of my head right now. She's in pre-K. She will be in kindergarten next year. And
Okay.
there is something that, has went on at home before, and it shows in her behavior sometimes at school. So it's very important. It's so important.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that is one thing that a lot of adults need to take into consideration as well. Some of these kids are living worse than you, experiencing and dealing with things that you could not even imagine be going to as an
Yes.
adult. So when we
Yes.
lose the patience and we don't take the time to properly address the things that might be going on, and we label
Mm-hmm.
as, bad or out of control, or they can't be helped, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
takes the right conversation at the right time with the right tone. And that is where a lot of us are struggling to even address the topic.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Cece is in the comments, and she said, "Oh,
Yes.
so yes, Miss Layla, I'm so proud."
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And drop a like, drop a comment, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yes.
Chatter time, ladies and gentlemen, and we are speaking about mental health in the grade schools, because
Mm-hmm.
that is a topic that we need to dive into. We need to know where to go to help support. We need to know what it looks like to need support. So, Miss Layla, what
Yes.
are common mental health struggles that a lot of the youth face? I know bullying is a very
Mm-hmm.
popular
Mm-hmm.
struggle these students face. What is another uh deep topic that occurs often that you see in elementary schools with with the youth today?
In elementary school, definitely bullying. They have a lot of have friendship issues
Mm.
that they, might not understand, because they're a little bit younger than middle and high. Um, some crisis issues, like homelessness, or suspected abuse or neglect. Those are probably the top ones that I get in my office every so
And
often.
watching an episode of Judge Mathis. I'm always watching Judge Mathis.
I love me some Judge Mathis.
I was just watching the episode where one of the either the plaintiff or the defendant, I can't remember. One of them was going to school to become a social worker, and he
Mm-hmm.
was saying how important social workers are, because a lot of times students are struggling, and we're like, well, where the parents? Parents. Sometimes the parents are unreachable. Sometimes the parents are dealing with things or on drugs or not there. So
Mm-hmm.
what, a child has no one. And that
Mm-hmm.
brings me to another question, like, what are some of the solutions or resources that parents and non-parents can do to assist with these struggles, because like what Judge Mathis was saying was that we need more social workers. We need, because a lot of kids fall in the cracks, and we've been seeing a lot of cases come up in the news lately where it's like the that child or the system. Like, what are some resources and some things that parents in the community can do to start being there to help assist with those struggles, like the bullying, the homelessness, and all of these things?
So first and foremost, reach out to the school. You know, as a parent, reach.
We're gonna get to that
Okay.
first note that you made. We're gonna take one sip to that.
All right.
It again before we take that sip.
Reach out to the school parents. Reach out to the school.
Communicate with these teachers and these staff.
Yes, and me and my school social worker at the current school I work at, we are like double mid twins. We're like this. We constantly tell the parents it's okay. Reach out to the school. You don't have to worry about anything getting out. If you reach out to me, the counselor, or my school social worker directly, or at least tell the teacher, you don't got to go in super detail, but just say, hey, tell the teacher ABC. They let me know, and then me and my school social worker get together and do X, Y, Z the best way possible. That's the first start. If a parent or a guardian doesn't know which way to go for resources and they have a child or children in school, they can start with us. And usually we will guide them and give them resources from the community to start at, you know, any therapeutic resources or, you know, support groups, things like that. For example, if it's a homeless issue, you know, we can help with that, like send them a place where shelters and whatnot. That's the first step. If you got children in school, reach out to the school. You know, we can help you as much as possible to kind of keep them afloat, and, you know, just constantly check in, see how you're doing. Is there anything else you need,
right,
et cetera, et cetera. And we always reassure them like, hey, this is what we are here for. We're here to help.
And I love to hear it. And there are so many situations and circumstances that exist in our community. What is something that you would suggest that a non-parent would do? Like someone like me or an auntie or a grandmother, they don't necessarily have authority over the child, but they see X, Y, and Z is happening. A lot of people don't want to always call the authorities because, you know, the first thing that they do is take the child. And sometimes that situation is not better nor worse for the student, but we don't know which way it's going to go. Because listen, we support all of these systems that are set in place to assist the kids, but we also we're not in denial about the fact that a lot of kids go through these systems and they're affected negatively. So a lot of people are afraid to reach out and call CPS and do certain things because they don't want to see certain things happen to the child. What is something that you would suggest or give advice that they would do to maybe assist? And also, this is another issue that I think exists that we don't speak on a lot. Sometimes you got your own life and you got your own business. It's like, yeah, I see them kids over there going through what they're going through, and I'm gonna help here and where I can. Like, I know y'all hungry, I'm gonna feed y'all. But there's gonna be them nights I can't feed y'all. So I'm not gonna tell you I can't feed you, but I'm gonna avoid you. But in the back of my mind, I'm still like, dang, them kids probably ain't. What is something that those parents could do? Because all of these things affect a child's mental health. It affects how they perform, how they react to other students and other people in general. A lot of students are dealing with these things, and the only thing they can do is act out physically or mentally. And what is some advice that you would give to someone that is a neighbor or aunt, grandma, who is witnessing this?
Yeah. I mean, my advice would be, because like you say, the old school phrase, it takes a village to raise a child, right? And so my advice would be to be that person to reach out to that, you know, if you were a neighbor, reach out to that neighbor and say, hey, do you need some help? I know somebody I can connect you with, or let's figure this out together. You know, as a grandmother, if they're seeing, you know, their daughter or son struggling, I mean, as a grandparent, there is going to automatically kind of be there, you know? So the first thing is extend that olive branch to help. Community is really, really big in connection. So you just never know who knows who and who can help you. And I understand that, you know, nowadays people are ashamed or nervous to say, I got this going on with my child, or I don't know where to go or what to do. And me and my school social worker has definitely had those experiences with parents where they're like, you know, they was nervous to say something, or they didn't, you know, automatically they think if they say something to school, like you said, they automatically think, okay, their child's going to get taken, or we're going to, you know, call CPS and whatnot. But it doesn't automatically start right there unless it's something really extreme, which I have experienced that before as well. I got the experience in. I don't only did it for 5 years, but I got some experience in with seeing all of that. But honestly, for real, community and connection. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, I have had people to reach out to me because they know, just like you wanted me to be on here, because they know I'm a school counselor, and asking, hey, do you have any resources, or do you know of somebody you can point me to for this or that? Like for example, my first lady from my church, she had reached out to me about a situation, and she reached out to me because she knew I was a school counselor. And what did I do? I got with my community. I reached out to my school social worker. I reached out to a former school social worker and another therapist I know for resources to help that parent. And I gave it to her, my first lady, and she gave it to the parent. And, you know, preferably she was able to get the help she needed and whatnot for her child. But you see how that community and that connection works. That's how you can start, you know. And again, that just reassurance, that checking in and say, hey, is everything good? Is there anything else you need? So forth and so forth. I mean, community and connection is really, really big. And let me give you one more example. So, you know, I don't want to put my county out there, but I work in a county. I work in a county.
And we'll keep it limited.
Yes. And so we have, you know, you got the main district, and then you have like the different areas. And so you have the area part. So my school is area 2, and we have our area 2 people. And so my area 2 mental health coordinator literally reached out to all of the area 2 schools and say, hey, I have a parent who's 29, lost her husband not too long ago to a fatal car accident. She needs food. She has 2 younger children. She needs help. And literally, like that, I got on it as the counselor. The other school counselors in area 2 got on it, school social workers. And by the time he got to everybody and got everything, she was good. She had everything she needed. And I saw him last week. He stopped in just to check in on me and my school social worker. And he told me, he was like, yeah, she's good. And the way that you all stepped in really helped her out. So that is a community. You know what I mean? If we can just keep it like that,
absolutely,
we'll all be all right. Okay.
And gentlemen, that is what it takes. Did you hear what she said was a solution that existed in her county? This is something that a lot of us don't even know is in place in our community. See, a lot of things go over our head, and a lot of us struggle way more than we need to because we don't know the opportunities that are afforded to us. So from what I'm hearing, it seems as though, I don't know if all, but there are some things placed in certain districts where if something goes wrong with the parent, they all come together and assist. So this is encouragement to any parents or any students that are struggling at home or struggling with things, and you need help, and you may be embarrassed. You can go to your school counselor, like she just said. You can go to your attendant. You can reach out to your school and see what resources are available to you. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about it not being available to you. It's about putting your pride aside and reaching out. Because one thing about it, we cannot move forward if we don't decide that we have to take a step forward.
And let me just say one more thing with the community piece for another example. So if it's a parent, so I had another situation where I don't think the parent the parent flee from another state from a very bad situation, and the children were not in school yet. I think she had, I can't remember how many kids, but I know two of them maybe weren't school age yet, and one was. But here in Georgia, which I don't agree, but pre-K and kindergarten is not required. But I disagree with that. Because I went to pre-K and kindergarten and it was required. But anyhow, so but again with
what are you doing?
Exactly. So with going back to that community piece, this is another example with this parent. Her children not in school yet, and she was in the area of our school, and we are connected with like the neighborhood church that's down the street from my school, and so that the youth lady reached out to me, community, asking, letting me know the person's situation, asking about resources. They have helped her as a church as much as they could, but they wanted some more resources to help her. And again, she reached out to me. I got her with my school social worker, and they worked together to do the best they could. So even if your children is not in school yet and you need help, it's still possible to get what you need with community.
Gentlemen, reach out to the schools, reach out to your community, be involved, and don't just, I have to say this, don't just be involved when you need something. Show up when you need something and when you don't, so that when you need something, you know where to go. When you're around and when you're in the mix, you find out things. When you're showing up at these schools, you get answers to things. These PTA meetings, I know sometimes they might be a little on your nerves. I don't want to go up and work all day. Now I got to go here acting up. Go. You might find out something that will help relieve some of the things that you're dealing with. There might be extracurricular classes for your child. There could be study groups. There are so many things that are available in these schools, but we have to give ourselves the availability, time to go and seek what they are. Ladies, if you're just now tuning in, this is Chitter, and I am your host, Unique Romanagar, and I am here with my guest, elementary school counselor, Miss Layla P. And we are discussing healing starting early. We're speaking about resources and solutions and problems that exist within grade schools, and what we can do and how we can assist in being support and getting these things done. And before we continue on, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after this commercial.
All right.
You know what time it is. It's Chitter Chatter time. It's Chitter Chatter time. This ain't just talk. This is healing. This is growth. This is truth. This ain't just talk. This is healing. This is growth. This is truth. Chitter Chatter. We run the vibe. Talk it out loud. Bring it to the light. From the pain to the glow up after. Welcome to Chitter Chatter. Chitter Chatter. Say it loud. Say it proud. Real talk. Only we don't water down. Every queen got a voice that matters. Step inside Chitter Chatter. Yeah, we speaking life. No filter. No fear. Every story told. Yeah, it matters right here. From the laughs to the tears. We keep it all real. Mind check, heart check, tell me how you feel. Building up queens, yeah, we shifting the space. Healing out loud, putting truth in your face. It's a vibe, it's a movement, more than a show. When Unique will talk, you already know. Chitter Chatter, we run the vibe. Talk it out loud, bring it to the light. From the pain to the glow up after. Welcome to Chitter Chatter. Chitter Chatter, say it loud, say it proud. Real talk, only we don't water down. Every queen got a voice that matters. Step inside Chitter Chatter. Black Girl Beauty presents Chitter Chatter. Hosted by Unique Romanagar. You know what time it is. It's Chitter Chatter time. It's Chitter Chatter time. This ain't just talk. This is healing. This is growth. This is truth. This ain't just talk. This is healing. This is growth. This is truth. Chitter Chatter. We run the vibe. Talk it out loud. Bring it to the light. From the pain to the glow up after. Welcome to Chitter Chatter. You know what time it is. It's Chitter Chatter time.
Love, fun, and laughter.
I'm sorry.
All right, I already know what that was. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. This is Chitter.
I love that.
Yes, ma'am. We are here with another awesome episode. Healing starts early. I am your host, Miss Uniqua Manigault, and I am here with Miss Layla P.
Hello, everybody.
And we are here discussing this amazing topic. And I will be bringing in another in a second. But before I bring her in, Miss Layla, I wanted to ask you, because social media is so it runs our lives.
Girl.
Of what everybody is and who they are. A lot of us roll over in the morning, don't even swallow. Don't even swallow spit.
I'm guilty.
Yeah, me too. You know, you didn't roll over. It's like in instant, you kind of roll over with your
With
hand
the phone.
is going to grab the phone. It's
Yes.
like roll over and that social media is so like at our hip.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you, how has social media impacted the schools?
So the biggest thing with all age groups is the quick exposure to a lot of things. Them being exposed really quickly at a young age. The wave right now is TikTok, and TikTok, people post everything. I mean, you can get information off of TikTok quick, and TikTok is one of those social medias where you can post things that you can't probably post on other stuff, like the conspiracy theorist stuff and all that stuff that you probably gonna put nothing else because it might get taken down. But TikTok let you put it up there. So the first thing is exposure. They get exposed to a lot of things quickly, but it's not just TikTok. I mean, it's all of the social media. But the top two that I see a lot in elementary is TikTok and YouTube. Those are the top two. Because the kids, they like to get on YouTube and watch the shorts, or they looking up different stuff on YouTube. And then TikTok is all about the dances and just scrolling and whatever videos. Now,
I've been seeing a lot of posts and articles speaking about the drop in the intelligence scale the more we're exposed to social media. How has the social media being more and more relevant in our lives? How have you seen that affect the students emotionally and performance-wise? Because it's being stated that the more technological, smart, intelligent these kids are, I don't know the word. I don't want to say book smart. The less book smart they are.
Yeah, that's it. It does play on their intelligence. They can pull this up really quickly on the computer, or pull that up on TikTok, or fix it, show me how to do this. But I hate to say it, but when it comes to okay, you got clean, legible writing at this age, that plays a part. It's so much unique.
Absolutely. Well, before we bring in our guest, one question I want to ask you, because it's so important. What is something that adults can do to help create a safer emotional space for students and teachers? Because it's not teachers and staff, and more so for these teachers and staff, because you're in the schools and you're in the atmosphere, you get a little bit more information than we do. So you kind of see things from the outside and the inside. What is something the parents and the community can do to make mental health and connection and communication with the schools a safer space? Like I feel safe coming to you and having this conversation with you about your child. I feel safe coming to you having this conversation about me coming from the child.
Showing support to the teachers, really supporting them, showing that as a parent, I'm not your opposite, or as we say, I'm not your op. I'm not your op. I am your team. You said what?
I'll take one sip to that. Don't be the teacher's op.
Don't be the teacher's op. Okay.
Parents be the biggest op sometimes.
Ooh, that's a candy conversation offline. But no, honestly, do not be against as a parent, don't be against your teacher if anything, be a team player on their team, you know, a partnership in a sense, because at the end of the day, every year the focus is this child or this or these children. That is the main thing. And so as a parent or parents and a teacher, y'all have to work together, and we have and just get a understanding of one another, of how the teacher operates and work in their classroom and vice versa, and then what can we do to come together as as a medium so that this child can be successful, you know, because it's hard for teachers to, when they're like this with the parent, and
Mm.
trying to hold that child up to a, you know, a higher standard or see the potential the child has. But if they can't do that because they're like this with the parent,
Mm.
it does make it kind of hard to, it just makes it hard. And so if anything, the main thing is really for teachers and staff is to really feel supported and feel like that, you know, you're gonna have their back.
They're absolutely, and
We're in here battling, okay?
that is so important, because let's think, we don't give teachers enough credit. You have to think about it on every scale. We as humans, whether you're working in a grocery store or you're teaching, you do not want to, you don't feel good about doing your job when somebody is giving you a hard time. When when the cashier does not want to ring up your order when you just spent 15 minutes yelling at her about how fast the belt line is not moving, as if she has any control over that. Your teachers with your child's teacher. A teacher is not, you take away the joy a teacher feels, because when I'm working with my students, it feels good to see them, to see that they're grasping this information, to see that they're learning from you, to know that you were there for them. So that feels good.
Yes.
But I'm trying to work with this student and they're struggling. And sometimes students react differently. When they're struggling, they start acting out to avoid the fact that they're struggling. I don't want to bring attention to that. So they start doing other things. When I realize that the child is doing that, that's when you go to the parent to have a conversation with the parent. But if you're giving the teacher a hard time in that moment, you'll make the teacher want to be like, you know what? Okay, well, let them not learn that.
Yes, and one thing I do as a counselor to support my teachers is I always tell them, like, hey, come on down to the counseling corner. Y'all can come to my office and talk to me about whatever. Yes, I'm mainly here for the children, but I do tell my teachers, like, yes, y'all can come and talk to me about whatever. And I'm going to sit there, hash it out, vent with them together, because some of the same issues that they may get from the teachers, from the parents, I might can get it too as the counselor, you know, depending on what it is that may come to my office about their child, and I call them and, you know, notify them about it or whatever.
I know that parent.
Yeah, I can get it too, you know, but of course they're like the front line in a sense. So I always just tell them, like, hey, come down to the counselor corner now. Y'all can come talk to me.
And speaking of that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my final guest, because she was once a parent. Well, she's still a parent, but she once had a student in grade school and was dealing with some of these things. And I don't even remember mental health and these type of things being a topic discussed when I was in school.
Me
but
neither.
I'm going to bring her on and she can tell you a lot about her experience and who she is. Let's go ahead and bring on Miss Amanda. How are you?
Hey, it's Chitter Chatter. Hi. Hello, ladies. Hi, Miss Layla.
Hi, Miss Amanda.
I liked your Chitter Chatter song.
Oh, thank you.
Well, hello. As well as privilege to be on Chitter Chatter once again. I don't take it for granted. God has blessed me.
Miss Amanda going in and out. Okay. Now she been sitting here waiting in all night, ladies and gentlemen, and we finally get her in.
Oh, technology.
Can you hear me?
We hear you. No. Maybe you should turn the Wi-Fi on.
Let me try again.
And we have a comment in the comment section. One of our comments said some parents don't want to be responsible, so they blame the teachers. That is very true. A lot of us, well, I'm not yet a parent, but I have been in these schools and I have taught and I have some things. A lot of parents don't like to take accountability, and I have to say this because life gets overwhelming sometimes. Sometimes parents are overwhelmed.
Yes.
And it's hard to admit that you dropped the ball. It's hard to admit that you didn't realize that your child, because the first thing people are gonna say is, how you didn't know? How you didn't know? How you didn't know? How you didn't know your 17-year-old couldn't read? How did you not know that? And
well, let me speak on that a little bit. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now, Miss Amanda.
Don't start this today now.
No. What I wanted to say is, because I had a question for Layla similar to that, because when you have, and y'all know I'm a businesswoman, so I'm gonna speak from that point of view. I was a parent at a very young age, and I worked a lot of long hours. Layla, what type of suggestion or advice you can give to those parents who are working not by choice, but because they have to? I'm finding that a lot of parents are raising their kids now through their cameras, their cameras at home. And so what do you say, or what advice can you give those parents who are working all the time, or those single moms who have no help and they got to work, and they are missing out on raising their kids? The kids are raising themselves, and yet they may not be able to identify, are there any signs that they can recognize, or they should recognize, any withdrawals, or, what are things that they can, because sometimes they get home late at night, or even if they get home, they're burnt out, tired. And so they don't even have conversations with those kids.
They don't even talk to them. They just come home, get them ready for bed, and then that's it. And then that's back to the routine the next morning. Oh man, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but like I was talking to Uniqua earlier, it's that community, doggone it. It's that community. I know there are some who don't have that community sometimes, and they working, like you said, they're working long hours, they're doing the best they can. They might not have like family or other friends here. They might just move to Georgia and they trying to start somewhere, right? And that's why I said earlier, if you're in a situation like that where you just move somewhere and you don't have family and friends and you're getting started, your first community is your school. If your children is in school, your first community is school. And like it's so funny when y'all ask me these questions, I can literally think of students and families off the top of my head right now from my school. I know a family at my school that is just like that. They're they're together and they have two daughters, and they don't have really a lot of family and friends here. I mean, the dad's parents died when he was young, the mom, I think, and they don't. But guess what? Their community started with one of the teachers at my school. They knew her from when she worked at another school and she came over to mine. But again, she was connected with the dad's best friend, and then they connected, and now they have that community through her to help them out with the girls, so community is really, really important. Like you said, with the working late, another student I can think of at a 5th grader, the mom, she works, I think a restaurant, she works late, and I think he's been doing better with it now, but he'll stay up and wait till his mom gets home. And we start seeing it in school where he was falling asleep very frequently in class. Smart boy. But he was falling asleep at certain parts in class. And again, you know, the teachers, the teacher reached out to me, say, you know, Miss Lee, he's falling asleep in class. Is, you know, it wasn't harming his academics bad, but it was just still, we don't want it to get to that because he keeps falling asleep. So it was a matter of, you know, I brought him to my office. I said, hey, we want to take some frequent breaks. When you come to when you start feeling like that, come to my office and sit and talk with me. Let's go get some water. Let's walk. Let's talk about some things. You know, I did reach out to mom and just let her, you know, kind of know about it. I had to do it in translation because I do have a heavy Hispanic community near my school. And, you know, kind of just giving them that community, showing that concern. Hey, let's help you with this. What do you need help with? Do you need help with a routine at night when you get home, or a routine in the morning? Like I was telling Uniqua, me and my school social worker are like this. So we're always trying to help those type of parents that you mentioned with routines, or have you thought about doing it this way, or have you thought about doing it that way? Like community and reaching out to us so we can help out. You know,
so it really does take a village, and when it all boils down, it sounds like community is the answer. I remember when I first moved to Georgia, and I didn't have any family in Georgia, and my success came from the village, the people that I met around me, the friends that I made, and we became each other's family. You know, from Thanksgiving dinners to Christmas to, you know, birthdays, we became each other's families. And that's what I would, if I was to give some advice to somebody just moving out of town, a lot of times we're afraid to get to know people because, you know, the world is so dangerous these days. But I always tell my family is that you can't trust everybody, but you do have to trust somebody. You know, you got to find somebody around you who can add some value, who can help, I can help you and you can help me. On Friday night, I got you. On Saturday night, you got me. Or Sundays, I'm going to take them to church with me. And, you know, however the case might be, but we have to find a way to be able to come together and make this thing called life work for all of our families.
Because the family dynamic is so different. It's so the family dynamics now. I'm sorry, y'all. The family dynamics is so different now. I grew up real old school. Okay, I had older parents. My mama is Lord, how she is. She's 64 right now, and my daddy is 71. And so, you know, I grew up old school, but I had me a grandmama. I had a grandmama. I didn't have a Gigi and a grandma and I had me a grandma. We call her Big Ma growing up. This is on my mom's side. But I had me a Big Ma, and whenever my mama needed her to keep me growing up before I started school, and then anytime I got sick, she said, "Mama, I need you to keep Layla." All right, come on. Like it's different. And nowadays people don't talk to their mom, don't talk to their dad. People don't talk to their siblings. So you don't got aunties and uncles to help. So branching out, and like you said, and trusting somebody to help is,
and people don't even talk to their neighbors nowadays. And you know what? I have to say this, I have to speak on that. Let me just speak on grandma real quick. Let me just speak on grandma real quick, because the problem is,
ladies and gentlemen, I had to go ahead and mute her right quick. Miss Amanda doesn't know calls herself what I'm saying, because I did.
Oh Lord,
it's Amanda. If ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, this is Chitter Chatter. I am here with my guest,
Layla. She ain't right. She up here muting me.
I muted you so you can tell them who you here with. But I did question Miss Amanda, because it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are speaking about the effects that mental health may have. Lady, stop laughing at her, because she's up. We're already speaking about the effects that mental health can have on the youth. And like Layla was, and I had mentioned earlier, times have changed. Kids are a lot different than they were back when I was growing up. And Miss Amanda, you raised me. So looking how the world has evolved today, and how things were back, you know, back when I was it, or even all of us, because I'm not even the oldest, when your children were growing up, what is something that you can give advice to a new parent that you wish you would have known about or done when your child was in grade school so that you could have better supported their mental health? Because like Miss Layla, like I had mentioned with Miss Layla, she had explained a situation where her school community came together to assist the parent. Were these type of things available to you?
Yes, good question.
What advice can you give to somebody who was in kind of the same things you were growing up? Because you were a single parent, and how did the mental affect your parenting, and how do you think it affected your children? Me. I'll unmute you so you can answer. Yes, because I know that's what you're saying.
Can I talk now without getting muted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I love it.
How I would answer that question, I think I would still go back to community. That I think it all is going to fall to community. And I would say to the younger parent today, don't isolate those kids, number one. Take them to church, number two. Take them to church.
Children.
Right. Take them to church. What I'm finding is that young people do not take their kids to church. And they want to complain about the churches. They want to complain about what's happening in the world. None of that's going to change. But the Bible says raise a child the way they should be. And if they do go astray, then one day they will come back. Because I'm finding that what happens is by you not even introducing them to God, you are denying them access to something and somebody, this power that they're going to need going through life. You are denying your children that. And one day when mom isn't around, when dad isn't around, when nobody's around, and all they got to call on is the power in the name of Jesus, they won't be able to do it because you denied them. And I think that is a true violation. Now that's part one. Now part two. But wait a minute. Wait. Let me finish now. Don't mute me. Now part two. Part two is that you have got to build a community around you. You've got to have some friends. You got to create some aunties and some uncles. Now you chose to pack up your bags and move to a city where you had no family to raise these children. So now you got to figure out, you can't take these kids all the way 10 states away from their family. And then you want to hide them in the house. You don't want to get them in no programs at school. You don't want to talk to your neighbors. You don't want to take them to church. You cannot do that. Right. You ain't cooking no meals. I understand you got to work, but it's not fair to these children that you are not keeping them involved and that you are not building a community for them. You know, and I say find the auntie, because I'm sorry, but you got to find the auntie. Absolutely. You got to find the uncle. You got to find some friends, and you have to build your own family away from home. And you will find out that, what did they say? I got a friend that's better than what is that thing? I got a friend that's better than blood or family or something like that. Sometimes you will meet those people.
I love it.
And you have to learn how to use it to your benefit. Pardon me? Excuse me?
I said we have some comments in the section. She said,
okay.
Mama preach. Okay. You see how she's ready to go?
Or she was ready. She was ready.
She mad I muted her. Yeah,
but that's just basically what I would say, Uniqua, on that, is that we must create help for them. You cannot do it by yourself. I don't care who you are. It takes a village.
Oh, Miss Amanda, don't get me started.
Miss Amanda brought up a key question that I want to ask. And ladies and gentlemen, we are getting close to the end of our show. We actually are over time, but like I told you, sometimes we only get to 2-3 questions. Miss Layla, in grade school, because you said you also work with middle school as well. How do you see how being involved in extracurricular activities?
Thank you, Guffy 27.
This is one of my high school classmates.
Guffy 27 said, "Let mama speak. She's giving the young girls knowledge. She's speaking truth." Thank you.
Yes.
Alvita Barnes. Thank you, Alvita.
Speaking of community, that Miss Alvita is a lady from my home church when I was growing up, who saw me grow up. So She is always supporting me, my cousins. Hey, Miss Alvita, but
And
that's the lady who's seen me grow up.
That's a perfect example of what we're talking about. When you build those type of communities, these people will be with you for the rest of your life. These are real family and friends when you build those type of relationships.
Yes. I want to let you know that this is the episode we're going to be doing this on, and we're not going to do this for the rest of the season.
Girl, we need a part two. You gotta bring. It's a part. We gotta do part two.
But what the question I was asking was, and I want parents to tune into this because sometimes we don't think that the impact is as big as it is. How big of an impact and how affected are students by being involved in extracurricular activities? Do you see it as more positive for them or negative? When kids have something to occupy their minds outside of social media, things, the book club, the poetry club, football, soccer, tennis, how does that help these kids, especially when dealing with their mental health?
So it helps them in a positive way. Definitely middle school and high school for sure. It helps them in a positive way where, like you said, it takes their mind off of social media, that it takes them to another part, right? And then they have something that they have to strive for to keep. So, you know, when those boys are doing football or basketball or soccer or baseball, the girls are on the dance team or the cheerleading team, or girls is on baseball. I mean, not baseball, basketball, or, you know, we got softball for like girls and whatever. They have something that they gotta keep up and strive for to keep. Absolutely. So they can't be in school acting up. They can't be in school letting those grades drop. So now they have a responsibility because they're not paying. You're not paying any bills or nothing like that. Hold on, you're not paying bills or nothing like that. So they don't know the feeling of responsibility yet on that part. But when you get them in an extracurricular activity, now they have a responsibility of something to keep up with and want to do it. So if they know they want to do this, okay, hey, look, it's up to you to keep up with what you got to do to stay on this team. Yes, mom, dad, whoever will help you, but it's still up to you to show you want to be on that football team, that basketball team, that whatever.
And I want to say something on that too. Go ahead when you're finished.
Oh, okay. At elementary school, we have in the county I work in, I can't speak for all counties, but my county, they have put outside of clubs and organizations within the school, they have added basketball and flag football and soccer and track. And let me make sure I'm not missing anything. To elementary schools in my county. At first, those were mainly just middle and high, but they've added those for elementary. So that all levels have organizations or something to be in. But again, if you want to keep that, it gives them responsibility. It gives them a sense of like, okay, I got to be responsible for my actions to keep this. They have a priority now. You know what I mean? And it kind of start that up of what responsibility and priority looks like. So then when they start becoming older and more independent and they, becoming an adult, they start to lead into it. That's their first step as a minor, is organizations and clubs and sports is their first step of feeling what responsibility and priority is. And I mean, if you end up getting kicked off, baby, what?
Right.
and for that, I want to say, ladies, please, let's refer to Coach Carter, that scene when Junior quit the basketball team. And she said, Coach Carter, I want to let you know Junior quit the basketball team, but I can take him over here and he can play for them. But I want him to play for you. Parents, let's start being like that. When your children are acting up, when your children are doing other things, do not allow them to quit whatever sport or whatever they're in. Don't want to do the work to make the mistake that they made. Force your kids to stand in the flame of the fire that they built. When Junior got caught up in when he quit the basketball team, his mom took him up there. He said, I heard you, man, but I need to hear that from Junior. Quit before he can even get the sentence out good. He in the car. And she went and got him. And then I don't know if anybody caught that last little note when she was walking out the door. See, I'm a theater major. So I catch all.
Whatever.
Don't you start. Don't you. Ooh.
When Mama was walking up that door, she said, and you're going to do every last one of them. I don't know who you think you is quitting basketball like you pay bills. But the next time, you better ask me first. Listen.
Yes. That
But I
moment made
want
me
to
cry
say
every
something.
time.
I want to say something on that too, Uniqua. Wait a minute. I have two things to say on that. Number one, because I'm talking to the adults now. I want to say this. It's time for these adults to step up and do some adulting and stop running from responsibility. Just like she said earlier, you don't have to have kids to be a mom or a dad. It's time for you to step out and do your part and give back because somebody gave to you in order for you to be where you are today. So you got to be willing to give back. I have a problem with people who they've been through some things when they were younger and somebody bailed them out, somebody helped them. But when they get a certain, oh no, I don't want to be bothered with these kids today. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. It takes a village. It takes everybody. And when you get to a certain age and you feel like you don't want to give back to the next generation, then it may affect your own kids one day. Because we reap what we sow. So if you're willing to give and help others, guess what? One day you're not going to be around.
Yes,
and somebody's going to help your children. Your kids might be in need. Your niece might be in need. Your nephew might be in need. So whatever you sow, remember that you will reap. And so that's the part I wanted to share. And then I want to say to the moms, stop punishing these kids who are on these. I have a friend of mine who she had a little dance team. Wasn't getting paid, was doing this on her own time, was allowing the kids to come over her house. They was learning dance team and she was doing all these, they was going around performing. Then the parents started using that as punishment for the kids. No, you're not going to the dance thing today because you didn't do this or you didn't do that. And then they started using that against them because they knew that was the only thing, I guess, that them kids enjoy. But you got to realize somebody's putting into your kids, somebody's trying to help your child. Talk to that person and see if they may be able to help in some kind of way, because this is the only outlet that child has. And now you want to pull away the only outlet, the only support system, that mentor. Because let me tell you, parents, you may not believe this, but these kids are going to talk to somebody. Absolutely. If you are not talking to your kids, they're going to talk to somebody. I have had kids around me that are in my programs, and let me tell you, they made me stop doing what I was doing. You know, I'm over here trying to get something else done. They coming over there, and then they just start spilling it all out because they need to talk. Absolutely. They need to let it out. And we have to make ourselves available to listen and to hear.
And also, parents, another thing that you need to keep in mind is like with both Miss Layla and Miss Amanda were saying, community can change things. Keeping your child away from an extracurricular activity because you think it's punishment for them, it may seem like right to do. However, you could have communicated with said coach or instructor, and you two together to implement. Miss Amanda,
I said, right, honey.
I'm saying, but can I get my sentence?
Girl, if you don't talk,
you could be working with coach or the implement a plan to help discipline the child. You two can be working together, because let me tell you something, ain't nothing worse than a suicide. You after a couple suicides, you be rethinking whatever you did. And if you really want to play that sport, if sitting out from said sport is a sport is punishment for this child, then so will putting in some extra work and having to do it. That will also punish them. Riding the bench a couple games will also punish them.
Yes.
But removing, this is why the communication with these kids, it's really the parents. And I hate to say that because I'm not yet a parent and y'all like to attack me. But when we all come together, parents come together. We all come together. There's no way.
We all get together. What a day of rejoicing.
See how it's like she just. You really have to come together and be a community. We are here at Chitter Chatter. nothing without Miss Amanda. However, sometimes she needs to be muted. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, we are coming to the end of our night. I'm not unmuting you for a second. The conversation has gotten so deep. We've run over
So deep.
my community here with me. We're gonna have to roll this conversation over to another night because it has been so amazing and so helpful.
Yes.
Layla, before you leave, I do want to ask you, what is some advice that you would give to parents and students about encouraging the youth to seek counseling? Because a lot of us don't want to be labeled as something going on with us. We don't want to sit down and have those conversations, or simply it's a hard conversation. You don't want to have that conversation. You don't want to just try to leave and come back in. I'm still muting you. You don't want to have that conversation, or it's embarrassing to even because even as a child, if you're going through something at home, because kids have their idea made up about how parents should be, and they know their parents are outside of what regular parents are. Sometimes they're embarrassed to sit in that conversation, or like we discussed earlier, they fear the things that will happen. What is some advice you can give to that student and those people to encourage them sitting down and speaking to a counselor?
So, well, first and foremost, it's not that hard to get stuff out of kids nowadays. Definitely it depends on what it is though, but it's an art form to be a school counselor or to be a therapist, in the way in which you are able to word certain things, question certain things, and get certain things out of children, but in adults too. Advice to give students and parents about seeing a therapist.
Because we got to get into counseling. A lot of us are afraid of it. A lot of us are embarrassed.
Well, I know for the adults,
my business, and this is just for me.
Yeah.
Like, so I always felt like, because I'm a Golden Girl, so I'm a Golden Girler. And there's an episode on Golden Girls where I think Stan was seeing a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
The counselor come in with Dorothy and them, my Golden Girls, y'all know what I'm talking about. But the therapist was telling his girlfriend about everything that Stan was coming in there telling him. So when she came into the episode, she was like, "Oh, you're Dorothy and you're Dan." And I always had that kind of idea of when I think about counseling, like this, it's supposed to be privilege, but I always felt like they're gonna tell somebody, and then So what is something that you would say to somebody like that, or because that's stupid, so don't be like me. But I'm giving you guys an example because all of us have our own reasons why we should get from therapy. But
so I know of course that's a TV show, and it was probably like a little joking matter, but legally, as a school counselor and legally as a therapist, a licensed therapist, you are bound to confidentiality. Mm-hmm. So you aren't supposed to tell anyone whatever you and your client discuss about in your office, unless that student or that client expresses that they want to hurt themselves, or someone is planning to hurt them and or they want to hurt themselves and they have tried to do it. Then that's when, okay, we got to report outside. But we are contracted, legally bound to confidentiality. So
it is a safe place to come.
Yes, it is. It is very, yes. So it is a safe. That's the first thing I would say. It is a safe space. That's
what I want.
That's the first step. It is a safe place, ladies and gentlemen. I know we have all these thoughts about therapists and counselors, or back in the day, call them shrinks or whatever, but a good therapist, a good school counselor, it is a safe space. They're going to make it a safe space for you. That's the first step. And the second advice is it's okay. It's okay.
That's advice.
It is okay. And then, because if you are a person who don't really have those friends or family members to talk to, that's where the therapist can come in and be that person. Now, granted, they're that person for you for a certain amount of time. But for that certain amount of time that you have that therapist, make them your best friend. and
sure.
talk to them and allow them to help you in whatever way you need. You need help. It's oh Lord, it's nothing wrong. It is nothing wrong with it at all. I mean, like I said, with kids,
trying to stress the comfort. We want to make it comfortable. We want to make it normal. We want to normalize.
yes.
We're trying to give you advice and encouragement to seek therapy. Don't just wait until you're ready to get married, because a lot of us do marriage counseling. You want to, and let me be clear, and this is just me being honest. Most people do marriage counseling to see who they marrying. You're not going to marriage counselor to see what you got going on. You're going to see what skeletons they got in your closet. I'm gonna get it out.
Right.
We're encouraging everyone to seek therapy for themselves, beginning with because they are little adults. Don't discourage your child from speaking to their counselor. Don't discourage your child from feeling like they can come to their teacher and have a conversation. And if they cannot, encourage your child to make it a safe space between you and them, where they can come to that.
And that's another advice that I do give. I'm sorry. There's another advice that I do give. The parents. If children may not feel comfortable coming to me yet, and and something is brought to my attention, but I don't get to talk to the child. I call the parent. That's one thing I do say. Is make it a safe space for you to talk to your child. Make it very clear that they can come and talk to you, about anything. And then with the students who do feel comfortable to talk to me, which most of my students at my school are comfortable with coming and talking to me. The current school I'm at, my previous school, I always start off with, listen, it's elementary school kids. So if I got some little ones, I'm talking like, okay, listen, so I'm your school counselor. This is a safe space, okay? That means whatever we talk about will stay between me and you, unless X, Y, and Z. But one of my top 2 rules is that this is not the in trouble office. I am the helpful office, and that you must be honest. That's how I talk to the little ones. The older one, like 4th and 5th grade, I say the same thing. 4th and 5th grade, I say the same thing, but just I'm kind of talking a little regular. But I make it very clear from the jump before we get into why they're at my office that this is a safe space and this is between me and you. And okay, look, we're finna sit down and we're gonna talk it out. And I did that when I did work with middle school for that 1 year. I did the same thing. And them middle school kids was always in my office. And so when you show that you can relate to them in a way, and not even just in the school setting, just outside of the school setting with these children, if you can show them that you can relate to them in a way and that you're easy to talk to, they gonna love talking to you.
Telling me I'm so mean, but I was the cool teacher. Like, kids, I seen an episode of who watched Abbott.
I don't watch it, but I've heard it's so good.
Abbott, when Gregory found out he was the cool teacher, it's like, yeah, what are y'all here? Why are y'all in? When you create that space, these children feel comfortable. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chitter. I am your host, Unique Woman of God, actress, model, poet, Black girl beauty coach, and I am here with another topic. Our topic here for tonight was healing starts early. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, ladies and gentlemen. So we are speaking about mental health, and we are speaking right now about grade school mental health and how the seeking therapy and seeking mental stability for our children can be so amazing in the long run. I have my guest, Miss aka Miss Lee. She is a school counselor, and we have been diving into this topic. We have come to the end of our night, and before we leave, I wanted to just say, what is one thing you would say to students? Because listen, pedophilia is becoming more and more popular in our community as the years go on, which is a sad
girl, that's
thing.
an episode in itself.
Listen, people are feeling so comfortable coming out and speaking about their love for the situation and the act, and I feel like it's completely disgusting.
It's sickening.
We can't be delusional, and that's what we don't do here on Chitter Chatter.
Okay.
We don't stray away from the hard conversations, and we don't act like things don't exist when they clearly do. Schools. There are so many teachers that are getting caught up with their students. There are so many uncles and aunties and grandmoms and granddads getting caught up with their children. So we have to have these conversations because kids and adults need to feel like their children or them as a child are safe in these atmospheres. What are some things that are available to children in grade school for them to seek help if and when they find themselves in a situation as such? Because it's very hard to come.
It is. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's us. It's me, the counselor, the school social worker, the principal, the assistant principal. Honestly, any trusted adult in the school building. Now, if it's somebody in the school and even somebody outside of school. Now, I have a classroom lesson I did. It's in my curriculum, whatever that they give us from the county. That I had to do back in January, I think, about good touches and bad touches. It is very cringy. I'm gonna be honest. It's very cringy for me to. I'm sorry, y'all. It is very cringy for me to do it, especially with like the little ones, pre-K, kindergarten, first and second. But honestly, what's so funny is like pre-K through second made it more comfortable for me to do that lesson versus third through fifth, because they're a little older and they like,
or they know a little bit about
they like. Yes. So, but in that lesson, we talk about what are good touches, like a handshake, a high five, hold your hand, a hug. What are bad touches? Touch the private part. I say the swimsuit parts, the parts that are covered by your swimsuit. And what are unwanted touches? An unwanted touch could be a good touch, but you just don't want that touch. So somebody could be trying to give you a hug, but you just don't want a hug. So those are the three things I talked about. But the main thing out of that, I tell them in that lesson, is if anyone, an adult, this is the part I got cringy, and the teacher was looking like, ooh, but adult or classmate tries to do those things, who do you tell? And they will yell it, a trusted adult in the building.
Absolutely.
And if there's anybody, the first person to come to, the first person is me. Is Miss Lee, the school counselor, and then the ball gets to rolling. I let my admin know. I call my school social worker, and we start rolling our protocol if something was like that to happen. But they
want to see the fast action, and we want to see it happening fast. So
yes.
Students, attention and tuning in. When you find yourself in a situation where you are uncomfortable, when you find a situation where things are happening that you're not even sure are unsafe. Sometimes you're unsure. Go to your have a conversation, because if you're wrong, your counselor gonna tell you. However, 9 times you're not wrong. So don't be afraid to go and have those conversations. Parents, same thing. Don't be afraid to ask your child if and when they feel like something is going on, because when we're gonna end. That's what I wanted to end with. Before we go ahead and exit, Miss Layla P., I want you to go ahead and reintroduce yourself and tell everyone how they can get in touch with you. And then I want you to end by answering the questions for parents and for teachers as to some things that you have experienced being a counselor as a red flag when it comes to a child experiencing a mental situation and not some kids act out. Listen, and this is Chitter Chatter.
I love it.
Some kids act out because they bad.
Yep.
Like, I got to go ahead and say that. We're not going to act like all kids have a mental issue. All kids don't have a mental issue. All kids are not struggling with mental situations. All kids are not intellectually challenged. All kids ain't homeless. All kids aren't poor. All kids aren't going through a situation that is causing them to act out. Some of these kids just bad. Some of these kids are just wild and out of control. Yeah. However, we're speaking to those of the kids in this moment that are dealing with things and struggling with things, and they need help mentally, physically, or emotionally. That's what we're speaking about, because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. Our young men, our young women, they need to focus on their mental health, because right now all the stuff they're learning, I ain't gonna say it's easy, but when you get your mental together, a lot of it is learned. What are some of the warning signs that you can give to all the adults and all the children? Because sometimes your teenage friend need to be able to notice that their friend is dealing with something and be able to say, hey, friend, do you need, or I think my friend is experiencing this, that, the third. What are some of the warning signs that you can share with the community so that we can be aware or be on the lookout for when our children need our help?
So some of the one warning sign that came to mind is missing school a lot. They're missing school a lot, whether it's elementary, middle, or high. You know, middle and high, they are a little older, so they can try to skip class and whatnot. Elementary, the parent is responsible for getting them there. So missing school a lot can be a warning sign. If they're at school and they're just withdrawing a lot in class, they're just staring out of space, they're not really engaged, that's another warning sign. Not really talking to anyone, head down, just kind of just in a very somber mood all the time, especially if their regular personality is not like that, then that is a warning sign. Simply as coming to school crying almost every day can be a warning sign. Going back to the attendance piece, arriving to school late every day sometimes. And it doesn't always be that. It could just be just a bad day or something like that. But those are also warning signs.
Consistency
as well.
When these things happen consistently. Also, gentlemen, when you see things, children come to school untidy often.
Yes, thank you.
These are very important things that we have to keep an eye on when we're dealing with children. And I have to say, because so many of us get involved into these professions where we're dealing with children and we're all about a paycheck. You need to quit. I'm gonna say that to you, people that live like that. You need to quit, because it's 2026 and these kids not the same no more. They not out here moving with the type of energy that we were moving with. So you people that are there just for a check, you need to go and get up out of there, because the type of patience that it requires for these new generation of children, it requires you needing and wanting something more than a little paycheck. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that will make you quit.
Yes. Oh, and another warning sign is certain stuff that they say. I don't want to be here no more. Just certain stuff that's like concerning that they don't normally talk like that.
Being aware that they should also, like, they may say something to you that as an adult you get it and you understand where it's coming from, but you're like, how you even know that? And then why are you okay with having knowing and saying? Because some kids say things and you like, that's not okay.
Yeah. And
they'll say it as though, we do this all the time. These are all things that you have to pay attention to. These are the warning signs. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Amanda has joined us again.
Hey, y'all. I had to go check out and do something, and she was trying to mute me. And I was trying to say this very important thing, and I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to tap out because I have a meeting that I got to get to tonight. Okay. I want to say, I'm making a call. I'm making a call. I'm calling out all these young grandmas out here, because we got, I think, a problem with what's happening in the world today is a lot of our youth have young grandparents that don't want to be grandparents. They don't want to be bothered because they had kids when they was 15, 16, and then their kids turned around.
Don't want to be bothered.
Let me finish, Shaniqua. Let me finish now. Let me have the floor for a minute. And so then they became grandparents because their children turned around and kept it going and had kids at 15 or 16. And so what's happening in the world today, y'all, is the grandparents are missing. And I heard Layla say, I had my grandma.
Yes.
And me personally, I didn't grow up with my grandparents because I knew my grandparents, but my parents left home when they were young and moved to a whole nother state. So I grew up away from my grandparents. But I know my cousins that grew up with my grandparents. So I got a chance to see that. And I also see the difference in kids that were that had grandparents in their lives. That grandparents were present. It's a different type of stability. It's a different type of respect. It's a different type of security. It's a different type of confidence because see, grandparents are full of wisdom. And grandparents are going to tell these kids, I don't care how you look, you are still beautiful. Or I don't care how big you are, you're still fine. And see, but we're raising these kids and we're forgetting again that key word. It takes a village.
Yes, it does.
A village. And so I'm calling out these young grandparents. I don't care how old you are. And I don't care how much you want to party. Sit your butt down and help out with those grandbabies.
I love it.
Because those grandbabies need you.
Yes.
When I have my toy events, at the end of the year, I have the toy events and I go in 4 different states. And this is year 10. This year coming up will be year 10. And so what I see is that the grandparents are the ones who's registering these kids, trying to get toys for these kids and trying to make sure these kids have a good Christmas and these things. Because these grandparents are the ones, the real grandparents are the ones, they're out here helping and raise these babies.
Yes. They take on that major responsibility.
That's right. So those who are out here running and hiding, I'm challenging you to step up and be a grandma. Be present. Stop blaming their dad. Stop blaming the mom. Stop blaming baby mama and talking about all of this and all of that. None of that matters. But you being an asset to those children. You being an influence in their life. You showing them love. There's nothing like a grandmother's love.
Yes. Oh, don't Mr. Maddie, you're gonna make me cry. Because look,
it's like it.
Rest my grandparents. So my grandmother on my mother's side died in 2012, and my grandfather, he died in 2015. But when I tell you, having them grandparents,
that's right,
was a key thing to me being the woman that I am today.
Right. Absolutely, I had. But ladies and this has been a.
So y'all have a wonderful evening. I'm going to check out. I got to get some things done.
Nice to meet you, Miss Amanda.
Keep up the good work, Layla. Keep up the good work, Miss Chitter Chatter. And it's Chitter.
In the middle of my sentence, ladies, listen.
I had to check out. Have a great one.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and say goodbye to Miss Amanda. It has been a complete pleasure to have her here. This is Chitter. The conversation got so deep, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm so thankful to have my here. Miss Layla P, can you go ahead and give the fans and the audience a final word before we go ahead and end for the night?
Yes. So one of the final words I would like to say is, like you said, the topic was healing starts early, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And when I hear that, adults, I'm telling you all right now, one of the things, if you get into therapy, one of the things that therapists may do, depending on what it is you're coming to before, they're going to go to your childhood. They're going to go to your past and go to the past and look into, well, how was your home life growing up with your parents or your family? What happened when you were in school as to why we are like this now? And as an adult, and what we need to dig and peel the onion back and dig deep into to figure out how can we, as a therapist, how can they help you? So healing early really does matter, because there are things that happen in our childhood that trickles over into our adulthood as to why we move the way we move in certain ways. And I see it in these kids, and I tell the parents that, I say, hey, we got to make sure these kids are going to be efficient, whichever word, adults as they get older. And we want to start early so that when they become adult, these things is happening in their childhood or whatever they're dealing with does not affect them as much when they become adult. And I can say that from experience. Okay, I didn't have a lot of traumas growing up, but there's some little things that I went through as a kid, as a teenager, that I still move a certain way because of those things. Right. But I'm very equipped.
counselor probably did the work to heal, and that's what we're trying to encourage it now, ladies and gentlemen. That's why these conversations are so important. That is Layla P.
Oh, let me tell you where you can find me at. So everybody, we all got social media. So you can find me on Instagram. Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at _I am Layla P _. Okay. Again, that's TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter _I am LAYLA Layla P _. Okay. And my Facebook is Layla P Lee. That's where y'all can find me. Add me. I'll add you back. You want to reach out, message me, chit chat some more, because I love to talk. I love a good chitter chatter. Reach out to me, y'all. Reach out to me. Again, that's _I am Layla P _. All right. It's your girl.
Layla, it was so amazing to have you, and I cannot wait to have you back again for another episode of Chitter. Have a great night. You can sit down in the studio. I'll be back down in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an awesome episode. I want to give another thanks to my guests for coming through. I want to thank Miss Amanda. I want to thank you, the viewers, for sitting here with us throughout this entire episode, because we definitely went over, but the conversation was so juicy and so good. I hope that everyone was able to take something away from this conversation. This is Black Girl Beauty, ladies and gentlemen. We tackle the deep conversations. We want to give information. We want to inform. We want to strengthen our community, because that's what it takes. Like everybody kept saying, you can see how important it is to have a village, to have a tribe, to have support. Whether you're building a business, whether you're building a family, or whether you're just building you. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. You have to be aware of your mental. You have to be aware of where you're going and where you're coming from. And we're keeping it going all month. Next week on Chitter Chatter, we will be tackling fitness, ladies and gentlemen, because trust and believe, mental health, it definitely has to do with what you're doing with your body. Keeping your body in shape and keeping your body fit. You do not know how much it affects your mental until you start doing it. You exercise one day and the next day you feeling so good. You don't know what it is. Now you exercising every day. Get into the fitness, ladies and gentlemen, because we will be diving into that topic next week. And I have a special guest coming for you then. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, Chitter Chatter is back. And we ain't going nowhere. And this is season 5, episode 54. Healing starts early. And it does start early. Start the conversation. Start grabbing these resources. Start doing the things you need to do to address your mental health. Because when you start addressing your mental health, we can grow as a community. So many of us have things that we're tackling and we're dealing with that we could have addressed years ago. And maybe things will be a little bit easier. Because life will never be a smooth shit. But you always gonna have a good day and a bad day here every now and then. But when you have your mind together, when you're mentally prepared, when you have God in your life, you're prepared to take on anything. You understand that this too shall pass. Tomorrow is coming. And you have resources and opportunities available to you to help you get to the next level. Or not even if you're not necessarily ready to go to the next level, there are opportunities and tools available to help you keep going, because so many of us get stagnant. So many of us get stuck. So many of us look up 10 years done gone by and we're still in this mental trap that we have kept ourselves in. Address your mental health, ladies and gentlemen, because it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we are speaking about conversations, tools, and opportunities that you have to exercise your mental health, to get into what it is that's bothering you and to get better. Because the only way to get better is for us to start addressing the things that we have going on. Address your problems, address your issues. Don't just address them, fix them. This is Chitter Chatter, and I am your host, Uniqua Managard, ladies and gentlemen, and we have had a great night. I will see you next week. It has been a great night. It has been a plum pleasing pleasure. Good night. Good night. I should have said that right there. See you later. You know what time it is. It's Chitter Chatter time. It's Chitter Chatter time. This ain't just talk. This is healing. This is growth. This is truth. This ain't just talk. This is healing. This is growth, this is truth. Chitter Chatter. We run the vibe, talk it out loud, bring it to the light.